Welcome back to a Play Then Say video. Today we want to cover the subject of hype. So to start with, we're going to define hype. And according to the Oxford Dictionary, hype is extravagant or intensive publicity or promotion, a deception carried out for the sake of publicity, to promote or publicise a product or idea, intensively, often exaggerating its benefits. Is hype okay? It's something which the gaming community does seem to have wanted to clamp down on recently, with games showing above graphics capabilities to what the actual final product is released as. But I don't know why people do get so angry about this subject. Hype exists in all of the industries that sort of exist at the moment. I've gotten to see films where the preview showed every good part of the film and all the rest was filler. I've brought technology that's promised things that just couldn't be promised. I mean, your new iPhone might be 35% faster than the older model, but that's presuming that the older models can be running the same software and the apps are going to be the same size, which developers are going to want to make use of the harder software. So that means that 35% really becomes only about 10 to 15% once the product's been released. And these exaggeration, these higher numbers, people seem to expect it in other industries, but yet we seem to hold gaming in this higher regards when it comes to such things. So companies are going to hype. Of course they're going to hype. They're going to want to show their product in the best way that they possibly can. Should they do it to the level of deceit, though? And I don't think they should. And I think that the fraud laws in the way that they are laid out already protect this, already should be stopping this from happening in the way that we have seen it happening, and it would be nice to see some recourse from this, of course. But the big question I really want to answer is, should you get hyped about things? Of course you should get hyped about things. You're old enough, you're intelligent enough to know your own mind. Remember the companies that have treated you well and the games that you've enjoyed, and then also try and remember the companies who have oversold, that the level of expectations that they've set for you have not been acceptable to you, what you feel, and then from these decisions make up your own mind. If a company has done well, and get excited by their new game. I mean, I'm extremely excited about the new Fallout, and we're going to do a series of videos looking at that coming up. And I don't want to defend myself from getting excited about something before it's come out. I know generally what to expect from Bethesda, as far as I know. And I'm not expecting anything more than that. And from what they're showing me, which is basically made around game mechanics, I'm taking consideration. But when looking at the graphics, I'm taking that with a pinch of salt, because I know that I'm not going to be running the same high-end hardware, the same rigs that they're going to be running and demoing these games on. So don't let people put you down for getting happy or hyper or excited about something coming out. Just be logical, don't get angry, expect that someone is going to try and sell you their product, and just take anything you're seeing, as I said, with that pinch of salt, with that slight skeptical mind, and just be aware that there is a chance that you're going to buy something from a company and they finally aren't going to do it well anymore. Bring back to the Apple example, I've always had an iPhone up till the 5, and then because of the power coming in and matching Apple Android, the Android interface, which tries to do everything, was a lot more impressive for me. So Apple, who I was a massive fan of, came and disappointed me by the 5, but it was going to happen at some point. In the same way that I stopped using Comet when their staff stopped being trained, and I went in there and they were just reading the tickets off to me rather than giving me help or advice. So don't expect this to be any different in the gaming world. You're all adult enough. Get happy and excited by things. Life's too short not to be. Just don't get bitter. Company-based hype, so the hype that they are giving you, is this acceptable? Well, first of all, I think we need to remember that sweeping statements you should just forget about. Them saying this is going to be the funnest game of all time is nothing that can be measured, and it was just something which is being said. Where companies need to start drawing the line is you can't lie about numerical values. You can't say 60 frames per second if there is no way that, unless you have the power of the sun available to you, that you're actually going to hit those 60 frames per second. That's just not acceptable. So be careful, companies, before you're putting values on things that can be measured, because you should be held to accountable within your measures. The big game that everyone sort of wants to talk about really around this subject is Aliens Colonial Marines, which there was some debate because it didn't really show you stuff that wasn't in the game. It just completely misled about how the game was, and it was a hard one to justify, but I am going to come down on the side of not acceptable. And the main reason for this was it was showing the game to be almost a genre that it wasn't. The game was a first-person shooter. There wasn't really much more to it than that. You sort of got stuck in small corridors and you shot down the corridors. What the trailer led you to believe is that with the intelligence of the AI and with the way that the aliens almost looked like they organised themselves, that you were going to be sort of pulled around a bit more than what you were in the game. To the point where they were showing the game to be a different genre to what the game actually was. So for me, this wasn't acceptable at all. Just wasn't nowhere near. A company who I feel do it well is Blizzard. Blizzard knows the hype exists, and you'll notice that with a lot of Blizzard, there's a lot of full motion videos that are made to be very obviously not in-game videos, but they've used the characters well, and to almost do a little action scene to build that hype up, to go, oh look, there's that guy that I liked from that other game, and oh, doesn't he look so cool? You know in your mind that when you play the game isn't going to be that video. But you can't help but get excited, get thrilled by the prospect of playing as someone you know, as someone you love. So my hat's off to Blizzard. I've never felt that they've lied to me, other than saying that their games will work on launch. They've done it very well and very consistently. In conclusion, get excited by games. Enjoy the nice feeling about looking forward to something, but just remember that the thing you're looking forward to and the people who are going to give you the information on the thing you're looking forward to are going to be the people who are selling it to you. And they're going to want to make it look in the best way it can. Like wrapping a Christmas present. It may be a crappy £10 gift voucher you've got someone, but you've put it in a very nice card. But anyway, enjoy the world.